Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Here are 10 things that can destroy your mental health. Be careful. The first one is Jezebel. Sometimes Jezebel can be very provoking, but sometimes there's covert narcissism. And sometimes the verbal abuse, the provoking, you know, the harsh criticism, sometimes it's hidden. And it's so important not to get caught up in drama. There's so much drama queens that try to cause arguments, try to get you provoked. It's so important to set boundaries. And when it comes to witchcraft attacks, it's so important to be prayerful and, set boundaries with Jezebel. Keep a healthy distance and take care of your well-being. The second one is situationships. If a guy is not clear on what he wants, stand back and focus on yourself, heal, and don't read into things. If he hasn't said that he wants to be in a relationship, don't get carried away. Don't get carried away with your thoughts and delude yourself. Just see things how they are and don't get carried away with your thoughts. If he hasn't said he likes you and he wants to get to know you, he wants to he wants a relationship. Don't get caught up in your emotions and get your hopes up. It's so important to guard your heart. The third one is loss and grief. When you're going through loss and grief, it's so important to let it out. Be honest with yourself. If you feel angry, be angry. If you feel disappointed, be disappointed. It's so important to talk to a counsellor, pray to God, and just be honest about how you feel. Journal and find ways to cope, like self-care, working out. You don't have to operate in false humility and trying to be strong. Just be yourself and just be honest with how you feel. The fourth one is bullying and mistreatment. When it comes to mistreatment and feeling, when it comes to bullying and mistreatment, that could really ruin your self-esteem. That could really make you self-conscious. It could really help you. It could really make you develop social anxiety. You're scared. You're scared of people. You fear man, and you're a people pleaser. That could really make you feel very self-conscious and you're traumatized. So it's so important to don't downplay it. When it comes to bullying and mistreatment, it's not a good feeling. You don't have to gaslight yourself and feel like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. And the fifth one is a hostile environment. When you're going through mistreatment, someone hates you and you feel like you're walking on eggshells, that can make you really feel uncomfortable. It could ruin your sleep. You can get insomnia. And if you feel like you have to walk on eggshells, it's so important to find a way to leave the environment or find ways to cope. Listen to worship music and meditation and talking to a counsellor. It's so important to find ways to cope. Your mental health matters, and if someone's trying to make you feel uncomfortable and they're bullying you or they're using intimidation in sly ways, it's so important to find ways to cope. The sixth one is exclusion. We are social beings. It's so important to have community. It's so important to have fellowship, and if you're excluded, it can really destroy your mental health and really destroy your self-esteem. So it's so important to just have a community, even if it's, take baby steps. You don't have to keep, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be extrovert. It's so important to have a bit of community. The seventh one is rejection. When you get rejected, it can really destroy your identity. You might feel like you're not good enough. You try to be somebody you're not. You question yourself. You think, what's wrong with you? You start to see yourself a different light, and you might try to chase people, and you have low self-worth and low self-esteem just because someone turned you down or they just didn't include you. But you are enough, and take care of your self-esteem. Focus on your hobbies, what you love doing, and the right people will come along. The eighth one is abuse. When you're going through abuse, sometimes you start to be a people pleaser, or you start to isolate yourself, but you have enough to be ashamed of. You have enough to feel ashamed of, and it's so important to have a community that loves you, that validates your pain. Don't surround yourself by people that gaslight you and try to say, oh, that's not abuse, that's not, don't be around people that gaslight you. It's so important not to be around people that say, oh, downplay it. The abuse that you went through, is so important to validate yourself. And the ninth one is trauma. When it comes to trauma, your nervous system, is so important to heal, your nervous system and get the counselling you need. You know, abuse can be very traumatizing as well. So any trauma that's trapped in your body, it's so important to get the healing you need. You can talk to a counselor, praying, worshipping. And the 10th one is stress. You know, when it comes to stress, if you're highly sensitive, you know, don't let people gaslight you. Some people are like, oh, I've been through more than you. I've been through this, I've been through that. But you could be a highly sensitive person. Like, there's certain things that you can't do. Don't compare yourself. Some people can work, and you might need a balance. But there's nothing to be ashamed of. We're all wired differently. We are all wired differently, and it's so important to understand that you might be different to somebody else. Don't compare yourself. If you can't manage stress certain ways that people can, you know, find ways that you can cope. Don't copy other people. Go, oh, she did this. She overcome this. I can overcome it too. There might be certain ways. There might be certain things you have to do to overcome things. Don't compare yourself. Everyone's different. Everyone's wired differently. You know, some people are wired differently. They do certain things that helps them find your way. I hope that helped. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for listening.